The following has been brought to you by RockSolidFanClub.ca. This is the law.
And welcome back to the Law, live audio wrestling here on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other places that you found this majestic voice. And that majestic voice over there beside me, Chris Tidwell. Chris, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
You got the Joker laugh out of me, man. Okay, we had SummerSlam 2024 down in the USA, and it was a fantastic American event. It was a great event. We've seen almost every title switch hands. We've seen new champions. We've seen new stars. We've seen old stars. You know what else we've seen? Motherfucking Roman Reigns showing back up.
Yeah, we
did a little roundtable here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, the Law-Live Audio Wrestling. And we had sat down and talked to Eric B. from the Raw Dogs. We talked to Pretty Ricky Wilde from the independent wrestling scene here in North America. And we all kind of had our different takes on what we thought was going to happen. The only one to get it right, Eric B. from Draw Straws Raw. We got most of the event figured out inside of that roundtable. And it must be because he is our WWE expert. So one of the things that Eric called, Roman coming back. The other thing that Eric called, Liv and Dom pulling a fast one on the Judgment Day. What do you think? Because the predictions that we made, some of them came true. There was some basic stuff that you know, as a wrestling fan, you should be able to watch and figure out. But the one thing that we really predicted and we both thought was going to happen this weekend, and it didn't, was Brock Lesnar. So we got no Brock, but we got Roman. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns coming back in this position, in this time frame, and do you agree with it?
I personally think that it might be a little bit too early. I think that they could have gotten more out of this without him coming back then. But I get it. It's SummerSlam, and you have to have that big pop. You got to have that huge pop. And Roman coming back is kind of that huge pop that you're looking for, right? Because let's face it, that was huge. You almost had to say to yourself, because we talked about this during this, and I right out the gate when they did, the girls right out the gate with Rhea and Liv, I was like, oh, we're bookending screw jobs, are we? That was the first.
You actually sent me that text. Yeah,
that was the first message I sent you. I said, "Oh, we're bookending screw jobs." Okay, got it. Now I see how this show's being booked. Cool. Great. I was down for it. It was a great event. I think that when we did our roundtable, though, we were kind of looking at it like, what would be the ultimate in fantasy booking, in fantasy mark booking? How would you do this? Yeah. The obvious is for Roman to come back. The obvious is for Dominic to screw over Rhea Ripley. The obvious is was for Damian Priest to lose the belt to Gunther before they go to Germany. The obvious was all of the things, that we've seen in SummerSlam. There was not a lot of huge surprises, I don't think. You know what I mean? But it was still cool as shit. When Roman's music hit and he came out, everybody lost their mind. Everybody but me, probably. But do I think that it was too soon? Yes, I absolutely do think it was too soon. I think that you could get some more legs out of this before bringing Roman back. I think that you could have done something there with Cody losing the belt. But I don't think that they, listen, if you're asking me, and I don't know nothing about nothing, I think that ego's got in the way of that one.
I also think that Solo's inability to be a champion got in the way of that one.
100%. I don't think that he is at that level that they think that he is at.
No,
he's a great placeholder, because that's what he's doing. He's holding a place for the real Tribal Chief storyline, right, to come back in, and that's why they're doing this. It'll be interesting to see. It was almost like they kind of needed to, especially if Jacob Fatu is going to be, in a boot for a while. because it looks like he took a little bit of a kicking. Took a
Is
little
that
bit
a
of
work
injury.
though? I haven't looked into that. I feel like that was just a work to set up the fact that he couldn't rescue Solo from Roman.
Could be, but he's walking around. If that's the case, then he's doing a great job because he's walking around in a boot now.
That's still, to me, it's not a cast.
Well, listen. Okay, even a cast isn't a cast. Hello, Bob Orton.
Don't you dare talk shit about Bobby. His arm was broken for 44 years, dude.
I'll have you know.
Do you know how hard it is to walk around with a broken arm for 44 years?
Well, he managed to create a child out of it, so he was okay with it. All right.
So Roman coming back, I do kind of agree. I think it was a little bit early for Roman. I don't think that was a position for it, but they know better than I do about their own product. I can only sit back as a fan and give my opinion. The one thing that I did feel like it was a surprise was seeing both King and Queen take the belt. I don't. To me, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Bailey would at least keep the championship, or Damian would keep the championship, and they'd figure out a way. But both winners of the King of the Ring ended up taking titles. That was a surprise to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Nia more so.
Nah, that's been a long time coming. I think.
I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve it, but I just didn't. I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger on it there. It did surprise me.
I think that I honestly think that belt has been kind of dead. You know what I mean? With Bailey holding on to it, it hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot. So at least now with Nia, holding on to it, maybe she can go on one of those long stretches, on one of those, you know what I mean? One of those Flair runs, one of those Roman Reigns runs with that woman's title and just running through everybody.
You're just trying to piss off the entire IWC out there, eh? The internet wrestling community fucking hates Nia Jax. And if they put the belt on her for even longer than a couple months, it's going to be Vicky Guerrero heat, dude.
Listen, I'm saying let her take at least a year run. Right? Because who you gonna put her up against?
She wouldn't last.
The only person, I'll be honest with you, the only person that you're going to put her up against that's going to be able to do something like, take that belt off her in any kind of credible way, it's Rhea Ripley.
Oh, I thought you would have said Jade Cargill.
No.
You don't think so, eh?
No, I think Jade is at least about another year out before she even makes an attempt at stuff like that. I think that keeping her in this tag team and then, eventually that swerve happens and then she runs that program for a while as a singles before you even get into that thought of a title run, even a sniff of a title run for her.
Well, speaking of Rhea Ripley, what did you think about the match between Liv and Rhea? I think that was probably to me that I feel like that was the overall best story throughout the night.
Rhea Ripley is such a talent in that ring. Her selling, her facials, her timing. She is a stud amongst studs. I mean, there's an absolute reason that they gave her Australia. There's an absolute reason that they've given her the run that they've given her. I thought it was listen, the whole shoulder thing, I thought was because when it first happened, they got me. Like you hooked me for that brief second. They hooked me for that brief second before the referee got over to there, and she was like, "It's out, it's out." And as the referee's making, I'm like, "Holy shit! It looks like it's out." And then I'm like, "Nah, they didn't call for anything. Forget it. This will work."
Well, and it's also PCO is the champion of doing that, popping his shoulder out, making it look like, oh my God. And she did a very good job of doing the exact same thing. And it was believable because as well as I do, when you get an injury to a shoulder, it fucking pops out all the time.
Yeah. It's the Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon, smash it, you know what I mean? Dislocate it, do it. Like it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And they did a fantastic job. I thought that the camera work could have been a little bit better at the end for the screw job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the old knife in the back, I thought that they could have done a little bit more of a wide shot on that just to kind of show it a little bit, but it was fantastic. It was Dom did what Dom does.
Dom's another one. He's another one that is a couple years from now, you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, how is this guy so good? And this is the reasons why. It's because he's learning the business properly. He's learning how to get over properly. He has a fucking amazing facial features. His heat level, every day it's rising.
Yeah.
They do a couple more of these, and he will be the most hated heel in the company ever.
Dude, he's going to be like his dad. He's going to be just like his dad, Eddie Guerrero. And everybody's going to fall for it because it's unbelievable.
So what was your match? What was your match and what was your highlight of the night?
Well, you know what? Listen, we said that, and I said in the roundtable, the one that I was looking forward to the most was going to be the Braun Breaker match.
Well, didn't you say it was Braun Breaker? You thought Ilya was in on that.
I know, but apparently it turned into just a one-on-one, and I'm super glad. Braun Breaker's he is going to be one hell of a star, and I think that here's the thing: is they're going to have to put him over as a babyface because he's already getting that babyface pop. He's already in his promos now is looking at it like, I'm going to be the longest running champion of this thing. I'm going to be a fighting champion. Like they're babyfacing him up, which leads to a run of who you're going to want to see. And that's him, like I said, and a person who just lost their belt, Logan Paul. I think that a Braun Breaker and Logan Paul program is money.
It is a lot of money to be printed there. And even Pat McAfee is like planting little seeds, saying stuff like the Breakensteiner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's money. Oh my God. How did you even, like, it's so simple, but how the fuck did you even come up with that, dude? The Breakensteiner is the greatest name for the Frankensteiner since the Frankensteiner.
Well, I sent him that. That's how.
Oh.
Yeah, I came up with it and then I sent it to him. You know,
I didn't know you and Pat, I thought you and Pat stopped talking.
I didn't need the credit for it. And you know what I mean? I felt like Pat needs a little bit of a rub lately. Like, you know, his $37 billion show isn't doing well enough. He needed my input.
Yeah, so you know what? Whoever's watching this, clip this and send this to Pat and tell him he owes us a couple followers.
I mean, 2.
Chris did a lot for him.
Everything.
There's some people listening right now that think this is a shoot. We're working, Pat. We don't know Pat McAfee at all.
You just step all over it right away.
We don't know.
Backpedal right away, huh?
Yeah, well, as I'm backpedaling out of that, I'm going to backpedal out of this show.
Live audio wrestling.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.